Week 12. Welcome. Sunday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles host the Green Bay Packers at Lincoln Financial Field. This is the Week 12 feature of the Philly Sports Report's Eagles pregame show, brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports Report on SeatGeek to save $20 off your first purchase. My name is Benjamin Goldstein. I am joined by Sam Heim. Sam, another Sunday night. We're back to reality tomorrow. How are we feeling? Before we go back to reality, we got to watch the Eagles take care of business tonight.
Well, just like the song says, I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. I feel like there's been so much football over the last few days with Thanksgiving and this Sunday. Just been patiently waiting for the Eagles to finally play.
And it is finally here. All right, let's get right into it. We're going to start with our quarterback matchup. We have a very, very experienced quarterback against a younger quarterback, obviously, in Aaron Rodgers for Green Bay and Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, of course. And so Aaron Rodgers last week was 24 for 39, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he was sacked once, QB rating of 53.3. We know Aaron Rodgers. He's been around forever. What do the Eagles have to do to take care of A-Rod tonight?
Well, it seems so far Aaron Rodgers is kind of taking care of himself so far this season. You know, obviously he's playing with that broken thumb, been making a lot of mistakes, and now we know why. 2-time back-to-back MVP recently. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football, but he is hampered and he is injured. Also, a big factor with Aaron Rodgers is obviously losing Devontae Adams in the offseason, trying to work with brand new wide receivers. So for the Eagles, if he tends to see now that Christian Watson, he's kind of taking him and developing him along a little bit. So I feel like if we can take away Watson a little bit, then we'll be able to stop Rodgers. But they do have a great running game as well with Aaron Jones and, A.J. Dillon as well. So hopefully Rodgers' thumb is worse than everybody thinks, and he can throw some balls up for us tonight.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I think something the Eagles need to do tonight is when they see Aaron Rodgers not handing the ball off and he's dropping back to pass, you gotta get to him. Aaron Rodgers, he's old, can't do much under pressure. I think if you get to him, you're going to be able to stop him.
Yeah, and Rodgers, when he was younger, he was very mobile, and he's still a mobile quarterback in the sense that he can move around the pocket, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league at seeing pressure, sensing pressure, and moving out of the way of it. But he can't really get out and run and make it pay that much anymore. If there is a huge lane, he obviously can go and get a first down or whatever that is, but he's not going to burn you for these long runs like maybe he would have a couple years ago in his younger years. And so that could be another thing, like you're saying, if we can contain the pocket and maybe have him step up into a sack or two and swipe at that hand any chance we get.
Yep, we'll move on to Jalen Hurts. Hurts last week in Indianapolis in the comeback victory, 18 for 25, 190 yards, 1 touchdown pass, but he was sacked 3 times for 17 yards with a 70.3 QB rating. I wasn't completely impressed with what I saw from Hurts last week. There were some things he could have done better, of course. Will we have – I keep asking this question because I feel like you can say yes to every week. Are we going to have another dominant Hurts day tonight?
Yeah, so I'm a little nervous about the dominant Hurts day question for the first time so far this week, since week 1 probably. The last couple of weeks he hasn't been the front-runner MVP that he was in the beginning of the year. Obviously, last week he took them down the field with his legs, was able to get the game-winning touchdown with his legs as well. And while that's great, and it's amazing that he's one of the best running quarterbacks in the league, you would like to see him be able to do that with his arm as well. And I think that he's answered just about every single question about his arm this year, but you don't want him in the big moments to have to just only rely on his legs. Also, I think a lot of in the last drive particularly was play calling. I think the play calling was terrible on the last drive of last week, so you can chalk that up a little bit. But at the same time, when you finish with 17 points, albeit against a good Colts defense, it's not a great day from your quarterback. But the Packers have a good secondary this week. They got Rasul Douglas, our old friend back there. They found something in him. They got other cornerbacks, Jair Alexander. They got some dudes in that secondary. So Jalen's going to really have to make him pay today. It could be a big running day today. Last week you saw them really trying to get the running game involved, including the last drive, like I said. While it didn't really work, it could be something that they're trying to see going forward, but it's going to be tough to do running without Dallas Goedert, and even the passing game we saw last week with Dallas Goedert out. So it could be another dominant Hurts day, but I'm leaning towards more of a running game.
I agree. It could also be a little wet out there. It's been raining all day. This morning, hard rain.
Yeah, I just left from right outside the stadium, and it's still raining down there. Not really cold, but definitely still raining, so that obviously tends to look towards the run game as well.
Yep. Let's move on to the notable matchups tonight. What are you looking out for on the field?
So I think one of the biggest things for the Eagles is to get A.J. Brown going today. The last couple of weeks, while he was dealing with some sort of injury, we kept seeing him pop up on the injury report, and he was also out with an illness this week, but he came off the injury report. He hasn't really gotten going the last 2 weeks. He had a touchdown against the Texans on that Thursday night game, but then didn't really do much in Washington. It seemed that he got hurt and then didn't do much of anything as well last week. So I think one of the biggest things for him is to be able to get him on the inside and kind of take advantage of the middle of the field where Dallas Goedert used to be able to do most of his work because AJ is a bigger, more physical receiver. So I think one of the biggest notable matchups of today will be AJ Brown over the middle of that Packers defense, because we need somebody to work the middle of the field. Last week we kind of saw it. All the tight ends did not do a good job last week. They had penalties and timely penalties too, third down and that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking for AJ to kind of take over that middle of the field, be tough in there, and catch and run. He showed last week on, I think it was one of his only catches of the game that he's able to take it and run it for a while. So hopefully he can take advantage of that matchup down the middle.
I agree. We move on to our SeatGeek standout stars, but before that, it's week 12. Playoffs are coming up. Sports are rolling. You got to get to a game. Ticket prices are expensive, especially for the Eagles since they're 9-1. They're going to be playing the Giants. They're going to Dallas. I don't even know the rest of the schedule off the top of my head. But Tennessee next week. Derrick Henry. You got to get to a game. Ticket prices are expensive, and the best way to save money is on SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticketing app that takes the confusion out of buying your tickets. All you got to do is download the SeatGeek app or go to SeatGeek.com, and at checkout, use code Philly Sports Sport. You can save $20 off your first purchase. Whether you're going to a concert, a sporting event, a show, no matter what you're going to, you can use this code on SeatGeek and save some money. We'll move on to the SeatGeek standout stars. Who needs to be the standout star tonight for the Eagles if they want to win this game?
So I have two. So my first one is going to be the new additions to the defensive line in Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph. I'll kind of lump them together because like we talked about earlier, the Packers do have a good running game in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, and they got a two-headed monster back there that was able to dominate. And it seems like that they're kind of leaning on them so far this year, especially with the loss of Devontae Adams and the emergence of Christian Watson recently, but he hasn't really done much in the beginning of the year, and Romeo Doubs hasn't really done much. So they're trying to find, their offensive standout, and that's going to be Aaron Jones. So I really think that those two guys need to step up and do what they did last week. Honestly, they did a great job against Jonathan Taylor. The first drive of the game, they let him kind of walk down the field on him, and then they settled in, and he didn't do anything the rest of the game. So that's going to be number one for my SeatGeek standout star. And then number two, it's going to be a cop-out almost, but it's got to be Jalen. Last two games, you can look to different things of why they lost. 2 weeks ago, you can look to different things of why they lost. Last week, you can look to different things of why they almost lost the game. But common denominator is Jalen hasn't played his best over the last 2 weeks. Well, he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great. And I really think that tonight Jalen needs to put the league on notice. One of the things we talked about earlier in the season is that he shows up on primetime games. I need him to be a standout star for us tonight and blow out the Packers.
Yeah, it's another primetime game for Hurts tonight. Obviously, last primetime game didn't go as planned, but you need to show up again on Sunday night and I mean, last time they played Sunday night was against the Cowboys, and they absolutely killed them. So hopefully we get that again tonight with the Packers. Let's look at the injury report. I have one guy questionable in mine. I don't know what you were looking at, but I have no one on the Eagles injury report. Thankfully, say that's clean. But of course, there's dudes on the IL. You got what's his face, Dallas Goedert, Jordan Davis, the guys that have been out for the last couple of weeks. Monte Maddox. But for the Packers, on that injury report, Tipa, I'm not going to try. Galai will go with linebacker. He is on the injured reserve. Sean Rahan is suspended. Devondre Campbell is doubtful. I don't know if he's officially out, but I'm assuming he's out. Romeo Dobbs, wide receiver, he is out. And David Bakhtari, is questionable. I'm gonna assume he is out. I don't know.
I'm checking on Bakhtiari. I'm checking on Bakhtiari right now, but the Romeo Dobbs one's interesting, obviously, because they, like we've said many times so far on this pregame show, that they lost Devontae Adams. You know, everybody knows that. So Christian Watson has, over the past couple games, has really shown up after a pretty rough start to the season from him. You know, it seemed like he kind of had a confidence issue after dropping that touchdown on the first, would have been touchdown on the first play of the season. So with Romeo Dobbs out, he's kind of their number 2 guy. So expect Rodgers to try to focus on Watson. So with the number 2 guy out, I would probably expect Slay to travel tonight. That's something that we haven't seen in a couple weeks. I would say we've been playing more of like a zone defense, not really man. But now with Dobbs out, I could see Slay trying to travel, and especially because Slay's a little bit more athletic, a little faster than Bradbury, and Watson's a burner. He's one of the fastest guys in the league, and so we're gonna have to make sure that CJ Gardner-Johnson's behind him. But Romeo Dobbs being out could be big for us.
I agree. Little off topic here. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go. All black jerseys tonight. The uniform, the helmet.
Don't mean to cut you off. Bakhtiari is active.
Active. So, all right.
That would have been, obviously don't want anybody to hurt, but that would have been good for us as he's, multiple time Pro Bowler.
Back to the uniforms. All black uniforms tonight, debuting the black helmet. I feel like you are I just assuming you like the black uniforms.
Oh, I love the black uniforms. I
could see because you started smiling when I said.
Yeah, so it seems like every new player that we get, I have a Hurts black, I have Devontae black, I have an AJ Brown black. Kelsey didn't make this black, and they didn't make the Super Bowl ones black, but I would have got it in black if they had it. Black jerseys are by far my favorite, and at my job, we actually got the Eagles black helmets early before they've even had them. We've had them for months, and I do gotta say, up close and personal, they are nice. They are really nice. People are saying you can't really tell between the green and the other ones. You can totally tell. It's gonna be a nice night.
Yeah, when they have all the lights on them, they kind of look the same. But then I just looked at them on the field, and it's a good looking thing. Yeah, I'm excited next year when the Kelly Greens come.
Yeah, ever since they went to wearing the all black, once the color rush hit, where they started wearing the black pants too, that's when the black uniforms just took over. But yeah, the Kelly Greens. I'm nervous though because I don't want them to get rid of the blacks for the Kelly Greens. But we do.
I think they're going to alternate.
Yes, we have like 3 games a year that we wear black, I think, and yeah, so I think that it's going to be like 1 or 2 Kelly Green. But there are rumors
they'll probably go 1 Kelly Green and then 2 black. I feel like night games always go with the black uniforms. Then maybe against Dallas or something, they'll wear the Kelly Greens. Who knows?
Well, there's rumors that they're going to go back to the Kelly Green full time after the 23 season, because they haven't had a uniform change since 1997 or 96.
Hey, the Midnight Greens work, and they won a Super Bowl in them.
That's true, but they've been incorporating Kelly Green into all their stuff recently. So I don't know. We'll see, but I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, whatever. I like the Midnight Green more than the Kelly Green. I feel like it's more of a footballish color. And I mean, you can't make that logo in Kelly Green, so
yeah, you'd have to go back to the older looking one.
Yeah, and this logo it's the best logo in football. Let's move on to the bets. Eagles are -6.5 again. Will they cover?
So I'm gonna go no. Little skip ahead, but my score prediction is 24-20 Eagles. It just seems like the offense has been kind of in a rut, and while I hope they get out of it tonight, I'm not confident in it, and I'm definitely not confident enough in it that we're gonna win by a touchdown. I think that this could be another close game, or we're up and then the Packers score late. But I would not go with the points tonight. But you know, and then I didn't hit last week with my anytime touchdown, but kind of what I talked about earlier, I'm going to go AJ Brown touchdown. He hasn't had one in a couple weeks, and I think he's going to want to get himself in the game plan, and hoping they get him involved, and especially around the goal line.
So your prediction, so your lock of the day is your AJ Brown anytime touchdown.
I hope so. I mean, I put some money on it, so I'm hoping it's my lock of the day.
There you go. Over under 46. Over under
24-20. So, well, my prediction at least 24-20. So I would go under 44. But I would not be surprised if the Eagles score 28 and 28-20. So, I think these are good lines this week. Sometimes that when the lines come out, you're kind of confused. But I think 6.5 is a good number, and I think 40.5 is a good number. But I would go the under on that.
All right. Keys to the game. What are your keys to the game, Mr. Hine?
First one, definitely stop the run, like we talked about. With Aaron Rodgers being injured, they're going to try to pound the rock. And as they've seen other teams had success on us, just because it didn't work for the Colts last week doesn't mean that it can't work for them this week, especially because the Colts don't really have that two-headed monster, while A.J. Dillon's not as good as Aaron Jones, and especially not as good as Aaron Jones out of the backfield. He's still a big power back that can get some, key yards in short yardage situations. So seems like it's going to be the key to the game every single week. But until we can prove that we stop it, I should say, until we prove that we can stop it in multiple weeks in a row. But number one is going to be key to the game, and then number two, I think, is going to be get the offense back on track through the air. Obviously last week, like we talked about, only 17 points. Jalen not his best game. I really want to see Jalen move the ball through the air, get AJ involved, get Devontae involved. Devontae's had a good couple of weeks, the last couple of weeks, but we need AJ to get involved too. So I think moving the ball through the air and getting the offense back on track is going to be my second key to the game.
My key to the game, I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. Get the A-Rod. He's older. He's not crazy mobile anymore. Yeah. I feel like when he is dropping back the pass and you can get to him and knock him down, I feel like that's a good way to win the game. Get to Aaron Rodgers. My big thing is getting to the quarterback. We should keep counting how many times I say it.
I feel like that's a good one too, because we just talked about how Bakhtiari is active, but obviously if you are questionable leading up until it's now like 20 minutes and 30 minutes until game time. So if you're questionable up until now, they literally tweeted it like 5 minutes before I saw it. So if you're questionable until then we need to attack him. And I think that they might, put Reddick over on his side, just try to attack him, see if he's really okay enough to play, even though he is a great player. But coming in hurt like that, you put our best guys on his side, because that's one of the things that I like about our defensive line is that we do rotate. We don't just say, okay, Sweat, you're on the left side. Reddick, you're on the right side. They'll move guys around. They'll play with matchups. They even had Fletcher Cox on a defensive end snap the other week. So, that could be a big thing that we get to today. Take advantage of that quote unquote injury on the offensive line.
I'm going to go with another key to the game I just remembered. Dumb penalties. Get rid of them. So many dumb penalties these last 2 weeks. Last week, I feel like every single tight end got a penalty where Dallas Scott is usually good without getting penalties, but cut down on the dumb penalties this weekend. I feel like you're going to be able to get a much easier victory.
And it seemed like last week, too, that the penalties were at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
And one of them was ticky-tack, the Tyree Jackson offensive passing interference. But at the same time, they're just going to call that basically every time. But it seemed like just every time it was like, oh, we just got a first down. Oh, 2nd and 20. Oh, we just got that 10 yards back. Oh, 3rd and 35 or whatever we had on that one drive. So, yeah, and it seemed like they snowballed. But hopefully the coaches drill down on those young tight ends this week, and we can cut those down.
Hopefully, I got a haircut, so hopefully the haircut doesn't bring bad luck and more penalties. But you're back home. You're back in where you usually watch the game. So
Yeah, exactly. So not at the girlfriend's house today. So hopefully, yeah, she's working. So hopefully that brings the my apartment good luck.
Game predictions. What is your prediction for tonight? What did you say? 21, 24, 20?
Yeah, 24-20 is my score prediction. I think that we might get out to a little bit of a hot start just because we haven't really gotten out to a hot start the last couple of weeks. So I think they're going to be really focused on trying to come out and punch them in the mouth really quick and see if they'll fold. If they lose this game, they're basically out of playoff contention. And I was listening to the radio when I was driving back to my house, and they were talking about how if they lose this game, Aaron Rodgers might just get surgery on his thumb instead of just waiting if they're basically out of the playoffs. So I think we're going to try to punch him in the mouth, but desperate teams do respond, and desperate teams, will do things to try to hold on to any hope they got. So I think that the Packers will come back, but eventually I think that we will outlast them and we'll win 24-20 to become the first team in the NFL with 10 wins.
I'm basically in that same ballpark. I'm going 21-17, getting out to the hot start, and then it's going to be a usual Eagles game. You're up big at half, and then the other team starts to come back, and it's one of those games. And then Hurts has a nice drive at the end to get to maybe get a field goal. I don't know, see what happens. But I feel like the Eagles, it's very possible victory that they can get tonight, and they're going to make it difficult as they usually do, and they're going to give us all a heart attack at the end of the game. But they're going to pull it out with the victory. It's going to be like one of those whatever it was, like week 4 or whatever, where they were, or whenever the Jacksonville game was, they were up. Or no. They were down against Jacksonville. Whoever they were up big against, and they came back.
They were up big against Dallas.
Dallas, yes.
And then Dallas came back.
Dallas had to come back.
After your prediction last week, whoever's listening should just go and bet on whatever you said. I mean, you called a 1-point win. I said that Jalen was going to lead us to a game-winning touchdown drive. So our prediction was the most spot on of all time last week.
Yeah, so. I mean, if you need betting advice, listen to the 14-year-old, 15-year-old. All right, you have anything else to add? I don't have anything else.
Oh yeah, we're talking about jersey collections a couple weeks ago. I got my Kelsey on today, but got 2 Eagles Hall of Famers going in tonight, Hugh Douglas and Trent Cole. So I have the Hugh Douglas jersey out tonight, repping the new Eagles Hall of Famer. Not going to wear it tonight because I wore the Kelsey last week and they won, but we'll have it with me. And shout out to Trent and Hugh, obviously great defensive players for the Eagles, and rightfully so, going into the Eagles Hall of Fame tonight.
Yes, sir. So that'll do it for Week 12's pregame shows, brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports Report to save $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow all of our social medias. The links are in the description. And make sure to head over to PhillySportsReports.com, where one of our Eagles analysts, a.k.a. Sam Hine, tonight will be recapping tonight's game. I am Benjamin Goldstein. That is Sam Hine. This has been the Week 12 pregame show. Enjoy the game, everyone, and go Birds!
Go Birds!